Marketing mistakes that law firm owners and attorneys are still making in 2026, costing them thousands that no one's talking about. Hey, I'm Kaylee, founder of Legal Lead Sharks. We help law firms with client acquisition and intake optimization. And this is off the back of a series I started on TikTok. My goal in 2026 is to show it more across all of my social media verticals, not just YouTube. But this is kind of a long answer video in regards to a couple questions I got off the first video in the series, which is not knowing your numbers. And a lot of firms under $5 million a year struggle with this. I've talked to firms who have been around for years running marketing budgets for a decade, and they don't know a lot of these numbers. And that's a big problem, because if you're working with a Google Ads agency and just telling them what your budget is, and then the only dashboard you're looking at is Google Ads, you only know part one of a 5-part story. I want to give a really good example and answer the guy's question on what numbers do we need to know. On this video, I'm going to focus specifically on the very first one that you and I have to be on the same page with, which is what's your lifetime value of a client, or your LTV. Again, you would be shocked at the number of law firms, and if you fall into this, don't feel bad. This is not something they teach in law school as far as sales and marketing goes for scaling your firm. Lifetime value of a customer very simply could be put like this. Let's say your firm's been in business for a year. You take up all the clients that you've had in that year, you total the invoices you've made total per client, you divide it by 12. This gives us a lifetime value of your clients. If you've been in business for 3 years, great. Take all of your invoices, add them together, divide them out by 3 years, and then that tells us the LTV of a client. Essentially, what we need to know is, what is a case worth to you? That way, I, as a Google Ads expert, can gauge, are we profitable? Are we breaking even? Or are we in the red? Now, let's say you're a family law firm and you calculated your LTV as $3,000. And then you said, Kaylee, I have $3,000 plus ad management fee per month that I can invest on Google Ads. Great. Now we know where our break-even point is. So let's say we run your ads in the first month, we get you 100 leads. But of those 100, 50% of them, again, I'm going to be very conservative and general with numbers here just for easy math. Let's say 50% of them were irrelevant leads. Happens all the time. People Google something, they click on the first thing they see without reading the ad. So 50% are irrelevant. 50% are qualified. The next number that we need to know is, what percentage of those qualified leads did your team close? And if you want extra brownie points here and you really want to get into the numbers and see what's working, what's not working, what's your intake team's numbers? Were there any missed calls? Who's converting the most cases? Is there additional training that's needed? Does your intake team realize this is a sales call, not just an admin front desk call? All of this goes into account with your conversion rates. But again, just for easy numbers, let's say of those 50 leads that were qualified, your firm was able to sign 10 new cases. Now, those 10 cases, based on your past history and what you've done with your other clients, should equal out $3,000 each at the end of the cycle with that client. That may be after a month, that may be after 10 months, but each client should be valued at around $3,000. So in this case, what we've done, if we say you're spending $3,000 a month plus my management fees, and we got you 10 clients, is let's say you put $1.50 into a magical box called Google. You opened it up and now there's $10 in the box, right? From your $1.50 that you put in. So obviously, if we had this magic box in front of us and that's what happened, what would we want to do next? Put more money in the box. But again, this is just the very first thing that we need to know, is the Google Ads profitable or not? I spoke with a law firm owner who was spending around $200,000 a year in his total marketing, and he cleared about $2.1 million that year. Great. Marketing is working, but where is it working was the next question. And the answer was, I don't know. And again, if you're one of the firms that say, I'm spending a ton on marketing, I'm making a lot of money, but I have no idea what's working, what's not working, that's okay. That's because you have a Google Ads management over here, you have your operations team over here, and you as a law firm owner is right here. That's okay. Most likely it's just you have sales and marketing over here, your operations and your law firm over here, and they're not speaking to each other well, right? So in the book Fireproof by Mike Morris, the PI firm giant out of Michigan, he has an entire chapter, and of course, I'm biased because I'm a marketing agency, called The Legal Jumbotron. Long story short, his father-in-law was a businessman, and early on in his career, he was making money, but he couldn't see anything. And he was nearing burnout because he's juggling all the plates himself, all the client acquisition, all of them on his own. At dinner with his father-in-law started asking him some very basic questions about stats, KPIs, LTVs, what's your value of a case closed, just all of these basic numbers about business. And his answer to all of them was, I don't know. And essentially his father-in-law said, Mike, that's like going to an NBA finals game without a scoreboard. You have no idea who's winning, who's losing, how much time is left, who's going to be the MVP. It wouldn't be a very fun game without the scoreboard. And essentially that's how you're running your law firm right now. That summary of that chapter hits the nail on the head when it comes to your sales and marketing for your law firm. Marketing side is getting leads, getting the phone ringing, getting leads coming in. Sales side is your intake team trained like salespeople to convert those leads. And then the next question is, are your attorneys closing those leads? And if so, how many are they closing and what's their stats, right? Because I know law school taught you law, but in business, we need to see what's working and what's not working. In order to do that, there's numbers everywhere that will tell you. So whether it's your marketing CMO or your CFO or your COO or all the other letters and acronyms, somebody's got to be putting together a dashboard where you can see all of these things. The way that I run my agency is more of a white glove service. I'm not a huge agency that's just taking on everybody. I like to work with clients where we can all see the scoreboard, where I know I see exactly what we did with your Google ads. And then on this side, we can see exactly what converted, what worked, what didn't work. Where do we need to press the gas? Where do we need to either hit the brakes or re-strategize on those areas so we can get those working? So anyways, this was just a video to explain to you some of the numbers when you're a law firm and you're working with a Google ads agency, or you're trying to DIY it yourself, which PS, I will tell you, I hope that it's getting you at least to break even. But it's a complicated strategy. It's not something you can just turn on some ads, put some money in, and let it run and hope for the best. But if that is the case, put together a dashboard, a Google sheet at least, to start looking at all of these numbers, because what Google shows you is only a very small fraction of what you need to know to see what your true ROAS is, or your return on ad spend. If you work with an agency that's telling your ROAS and they don't know all these other numbers within your firm, that's not your real ROAS. There's no way they could know that. So anywho, I hope this video helped you. If you are confused about knowing your numbers or figuring out where you need to even get started, I'd love for you to book a discovery call, see if we're a right fit to work together. We don't take on, as I said before, we don't take on every firm. Not every firm's the right firm for us either. So we can go through that discovery call. We can see where you're at, where you want to go, and see if we fit in that equation to help you get there. If so, we'd love to help you do. If not, that's totally fine too. I'm happy to point you in the right direction, and we will see you in the next video.